Welcome to Lion Trading, going over today's SPY recap and live analysis. So first thing that I explained in the pre-market brief for Discord members was to be watching for the purple buying continuation along with the yellow and blue controlled selling, which you can see right here. And from there, we continue within this purple throughout the entirety of the day. Once again, you see this purple and the yellow and blue controlled selling algorithms, and we are unable to break out of them the entire day. Even with the tapering here at the end, we never see us head back down. Now with this move up right here, we have now regained this 20-day moving average, which we will talk about in a minute, but I'm going to go over the 1-minute chart and the microstructure now. Now here on the 1 minute to start the day, we had a gap up from PPI and instantly started moving higher, and we see this yellow and blue controlled selling with this inverse head and shoulder right there that you could have taken for this move up. Now it started to get quite choppy, and you can see this head and shoulder that formed right here, giving this move down. And now from here, we remained within the blue and yellow controlled selling, which you can see right here. And I explained to be watching for either this cup to close right here, which it did. But when we were trying to break this level, I explained you have to see this handle, and there was never a handle right here for us to continue. And from there, you can see how we are tapering, and we get this inverse head and shoulder, as well as this cup and handle I explained right here. And this starts this move higher. Now with this move right here and the continuation, you can see the blue and yellow controlled selling as we continue on the way up right here, but it is still quite choppy. And due to this chop, with CPI being tomorrow, I explained that I was going to call it a day and book a small loss. Just could not get anything going throughout here and was not willing to chase this on the way up right here. Did not like this tapering. Was expecting to see if possibly something like this started to form, which it never did. So there was no reason to short, but I just did not want to be involved in that on the way up. Now, you could have still been scalping this throughout the entire day on the way up, as well as adding to your winners. You can see the blue and yellow controlled selling like I'm explaining, but you just see that the follow through is lackluster. Once again, this inverse head and shoulder right here. Lackluster follow through met by instantly selling right back down to your entry. Same thing right here. Right, if you entered right here off of this shoulder, well, it just went back down right to where you entered. Same thing here, another inverse head and shoulder. You get this follow through and right back to your entry. So if you were trading this, you would have been having to protect your trade on the way up, taking profits and making sure that you can allow this to continue to run. You could have added onto it on each of these shoulders as the blue and yellow controlled selling continues to build on the way up. And eventually, right, you do start to see these larger moves, but it took quite some time for this to get going today. Now, as we are moving higher, I'm continuing to explain that we are still within this purple right here, and this target of the 20-day moving average is approaching, so be paying attention to that. And from the 20-day moving average, you can look for a short if we form the necessary structure, which we do not, and we remain within the purple, as well as continuing to see the yellow and blue controlled selling right here, which continues bringing us higher. Now, like I continue to explain, with this possible tapering right here, you must see this start to form right here, and you can see we never even get below this 538.80 level and form this shoulder, let alone close this inverse cup right here, and then from there could head down. Instead, what you see, right, is that same yellow and blue controlled selling, and we just grab this shoulder and continue pushing higher. You can see that cup and handle and another small entry within that as well. Now, after reaching that 20-day moving average right here, I explained you need to be watching for if we want to head back down. You must see this head and shoulder right here, form this inverse cup, and from there we can head down. But once again, you see the blue and yellow, and we form this inverse head and shoulder off of it and get this big push right here once we formed that off of the 20-day moving average and regained it. Now, after regaining the moving average, I explained here on the 30 to continue watching for this blue and yellow, and we may need to dig deeper in order to build more liquidity to get this move, and that is exactly what we did. So like I'm saying, with digging deeper to build more liquidity, we had this selling come in right here, but we were unable to break below and hold this 20-day moving average and close this inverse cup, forming, say, a handle right here in order to head down, and you once again continue to see this blue and yellow with this inverse head and shoulder, and we grab this liquidity right there and continue moving higher. So with this consolidation right here for about an hour and me not trading, I decided to give some extra insight with Bookmap and how you can be using it to understand what is going on from a deeper level, because believe it or not, through all of these lines and doodles, I use actual volume profile. I'm not going to go too much into it here, but you can see that I explained at ES 5450 that there was liquidity, and let's see if we can visit it. So right here we get this visit just short, I believe about a point, and from there we see how this strong buying slowly starts to level out, and from there the delta flips negative, which gives this sell-off. But just because we had a quick flip in it does not mean this is going to just continue heading down right here, and instead we see how we are within the yellow and blue controlled selling algorithms. Well, we start to see that aggressive positive delta coming back in, as well as the liquidity now being stacked higher on the book. And I showed how you can see the controlled selling on Bookmap as well as in your chart. It is the same thing right here. You just get a deeper analysis of it. So I highly recommend that you guys check it out once you get more advanced and comfortable with just the fundamentals of the market structure and algos. So after this move up right here, I explained that if you wanted to look for this to return to the 20-day moving average, watch for us to form this inverse cup right here, which you can see we did not get below this level, and then from there possibly get below this 20-day moving average, and if that happens, a possible short. But you see we did not do that, and once again are in the blue and yellow controlled selling right here and get that inverse head and shoulder on the way up. Now it is time to go over what to be watching tomorrow. So we do have CPI, and we will probably not be here at the open with either a gap up or gap down. So in the case that we gap up, be paying attention to this 545 level right here. And if we want to continue closing this cup, be watching for this 5-day moving average as well, in the case that we do need to build some more liquidity in order to continue moving higher like that. But be watching for, once again, this purple buying continuation. Now, if we gap up and we start to reverse, be watching this 20-day moving average right here and all of this liquidity. Say that we did something like this and wanted to dump off of this green algorithm. Now, in the case that the CPI comes back negative tomorrow and we start with a gap down, now that does not mean we have to go down. Once again, be paying attention to the 20-day moving average right here. And if we do form something like this and need to build more liquidity before pushing higher, if we do gap down and the selling continues, we have the liquidity in order to do so. Be paying attention to these levels here on the way down, as well as this 5-day moving average in the case that the selling did get aggressive. And this is how we can start breaking out of it and trying to close this inverse cup. So you can see if I zoom out some, how we can do this right here, grabbing this liquidity on the way down if we did want to start dumping into the rest of the week with a negative CPI. But you can also see all of this liquidity right here in the case that we did want to start forming this inverse headed shoulder. As I've been mentioning, we need to regain this 20-day moving average. So if we are above this, by all means, we can be looking for it to move to this 545 as well as the higher levels above up here. You can see on the daily chart as well, we are now back above this 5-day moving average as well as the 20, but we can still head down. You see right here, we retested this 20 and got this dump off of it through that 5-day moving average. So same thing, if this does happen like that, we can start heading back down. Now pay attention, like I mentioned in the last couple videos, we are moving higher, yet this volume is still declining. This is still weak volume right here. So unless tomorrow we start to see some more aggressive buying with some stronger volume to push along with being above this 20-day moving average, be looking for this to head down. That will wrap up the video. So thank you everyone for watching, and I will see members in the morning.